Marilyn Monroe was born on June 1st, 1926 in Los Angeles, California as Norma Jean Mortensen to Martin Edwards Mortensen and Gladys Pearl Baker. She had a deplorable childhood. Her mother had psychiatric problems and her father died when she was only 2 years old, which led her to spend most of her time in foster care. Norma Jean was sexually assaulted at the age of 7 and raped at the age of 11 in a foster home. At the age of 15, she dropped out of high school. The following year, her foster parents couldn't afford to have her anymore since they had to move to California. To avoid a new foster home, she decided to marry her then boyfriend, James Dougherty, on June 19, 1942. The marriage struggled when he joined the U.S. Marine Merchants in 1943. Norma Jean worked on the assembly line at Radio Plane, a munitions factory in Van Nuys, California. Soon she was discovered by a photographer as she was a charming young lady with great potential. When she enrolled in a 3-month modeling course in 1946, Norma and her husband took separate paths in their lives and got divorced on September 13, 1946. The photographer's name was David Conover. He approached her and said, "Miss, this is strictly professional. I'd like to take some photos test of you." Soon she would be known as the great Marilyn Monroe. She legally changed her name to Marilyn Monroe on February 23, 1956 after the City Court of New York sent her in order to do so. Her last name derived from her mother's family name, Monroe, and Marilyn from Marilyn Miller, which was a 20s musical performer. Her transformation did not stop there. Marilyn Monroe did 2 years of modeling in front of the cameras. Soon after, she signed her first studio contract with 20th Century Fox and dyed her hair from brunette to the iconic platinum blonde. She grabbed the public's attention with her small but crucial role in the John Huston's The Asphalt Jungle. Fox recognized her screen potential and decided to place more films in the 1950s.
Marilyn Monroe worked as a pinup and print model for her first 2 years. She was on the cover of Life magazine in 1946. She was adored for her breathy voice and hourglass figure. Her 2 movies, Niagara and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, launched her as a sex symbol. She was in many films during her lifetime, 30 to be exact, which includes Some Like It Hot, The Asphalt Jungle, Monkey Business, Bus Stop, The Misfits, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, How to Marry a Millionaire, and River of No Return. The 7-Year Itch has the famous skirt flying scene and the iconic white dress. The dress was sold at auction for a whopping $5.6 million. The blue jeans from the River of No Return were sold to Tommy Hilfiger for $37,000. He later gave them to Britney Spears as a gift. Here's a short film of the 7-Year Itch scene.
Didn't you just love the picture? I did, but I just felt so sorry for the creature at the end.
Sorry for the creature? Why'd you want him, to marry the girl?
He was kind of scary looking, but he wasn't really all bad. I think he just craved a little affection, you know, a sense of being loved and needed and wanted.
That's a very interesting point of view.
Oh, do you feel the breeze from the subway? Isn't it delicious?
Sort of cools the ankles.
She received Photoplay magazine's New Star and the Look Awards in 1953. Marilyn also received 2 Golden Globes in 1960 and 1961 for Best Actress in Some Like It Hot and World's Favorite Female Star. Her films grossed more than $200 million. Although popular on camera, she wasn't only an actress, she was also a singer. She sang many songs which include the famous Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, My Heart Belongs to Daddy, and Happy Birthday, Mr. President. Behind closed doors, she suffered from pre-performance anxiety, which hit her career hard. She showed up late to shootings and sometimes didn't show up at all. On May 19, 1962, she performed Happy Birthday, Mr. President for President Kennedy, which will be shown shortly, and wrote him a card with a red rose. But sadly, she never gave him the card. The card sold for $78,000 in 2005, and the dress she wore was auctioned at $1.2 million.
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you. Mr. President, for all the things you've done, the battles that you've won, the way you deal with U.S. Steel and our problems by the ton, we thank you so much. Everybody, happy birthday!
On February 1954, she performed to over 100,000 troops formerly in South Korea. She was also a civil rights activist. Monroe even got to meet Nikita Khrushchev, which we all know was the leader of the Soviet Union after Stalin's death through the Cold War. They discussed The Brothers Karamazov, which is a book written by Fyodor Dostoevsky. She yearned to play the part of Grushenska in the film version of the book.
Marilyn Monroe had a busy love life as she was married to 3 men. She married her first husband, James Daugherty, in 1942, as we know ended in 1946. She then married Yankees outfielder Joe DiMaggio on January 14, 1954. Joe was uncomfortable with his wife's public image. 274 days after the marriage, the couple got divorced on October 15, 1954. Marilyn accused her husband of mental cruelty and physical abuse due to his alcoholism. According to his lawyer, when DiMaggio died on March 8, 1999, his last words were, "I'll finally get to see Marilyn." Her third marriage was to Arthur Miller. He was a prolific American playwright. She was attacked by society for associating with a communist sympathizer. The couple got married on June 29, 1956, with only 2 witnesses and no photojournalist. Arthur Miller wrote the movie The Misfits for Marilyn in 1956. Their marriage was a struggle aside from Marilyn's alleged affairs and Miller's investigation for his communist sympathies. They dealt with her depression, drug use, and miscarriages. They ended in divorce on January 1961. 2 of her most well-known affairs were with John F. Kennedy and his brother Robert F. Kennedy. Other affairs include Frank Sinatra and Sam Giancana, who was set to be with her the night of her death. Monroe did not own a house until her last year alive and did not own many possessions. She said her greatest possession was an autographed picture of Albert Einstein that said, "To Marilyn, with respect and love and thanks." Tragically, Marilyn Monroe passed away on August 5, 1962 at the age of 36. She committed suicide by barbiturate poisoning between the hours of 9:30 to 11:30 p.m. Her ex-husband, Joe DiMaggio, arranged her funeral and sent roses for the next 2 decades. Her death hit people hard. A week after her death, there were 12 suicides in one day, a record high. One suicide victim left a note that said, "If the most wonderful, beautiful thing in the world has nothing to live for, then neither must I." After her funeral, hundreds of fans ran into the cemetery and stole the flowers she'd been sent. Hugh Hefner now owns the burial vault next to Monroe. In her will, 75% of her estate, which was $1.6 million, went to her acting coach, Lee Strasberg, and 25% went to her psychoanalyst. Her doctors revealed that she had tried to commit suicide numerous times before, earliest being the age of 19. Today, she is imitated by many artists, some which include Lady Gaga, Gwen Stefani, and Madonna. She is also referenced in many songs like Vogue from Madonna and Marilyn Monroe by Nicki Minaj. She was used in 2 Super Bowl commercials this year, one which will be shown soon. Even though she passed away 54 years ago, her iconic image and beautiful voice will never be forgotten. Now the Snickers Super Bowl commercial will be shown soon.
Action! Sweetheart, don't look at me like that. It's gonna be amazing. This is a disaster. Who's the genius who puts a girl in heels on a subway grate?
Miss Monroe, eat a Snickers.
Why?
You get a little cranky when you're hungry. Better?
Much better.
This scene will never make the cut. Morons.
I'm selfish, impatient, and a little insecure. I make mistakes, I'm out of control, and at times hard to handle. But if you can't handle me at my worst, then you sure as hell don't deserve me at my best.
I believe that everything happens for a reason. People change so that you can learn to let go. Things go wrong so that you appreciate them when they're right. You believe lies so you eventually learn to trust no one but yourself. And sometimes good things fall apart so better things can fall together.
Respect is one of life's greatest treasures. I mean, what does it all add up to if you don't have that?
Do I feel happy in life? Let's see. Let's say I hope I'm finding happiness. All right? Well, for me, if I can realize certain things in my work, I come the closest to being happy. And I can say that also about my life. Well, it only happens, I think, in moments. Sometimes when I'm working, and I'll be able to fulfill a scene truthfully, and then I think I'm the happiest.